Welcome back. Let's spend a few minutes talking about absolute advantage and comparative advantage. So we'll get the terms out of the way first, and then we'll think about an example and try and make sense of it. So absolute advantage is the ability to produce a good or service using fewer inputs than another producer. So the problem with absolute advantage is I bet if most of us are being honest with ourselves, we can think of somebody that has an absolute advantage over us in just about everything. You know, these are the people we tend to just not like because they're really good at basketball and they're also really smart and they're just that person. So we're like, oh my gosh, if these people are better than us at everything, what the heck do? We should do what we do relatively well. So this is what's known as comparative advantage. So comparative advantage is the ability to produce a good at a lower opportunity cost than another producer. So remember that opportunity cost is what must be given up to obtain or produce an item. So the idea with comparative advantage is we should do what we do relatively well compared to the other options of how we could spend our time or use our resources. All right, I understand this is getting jargony, so let's take a look at an example. So let's suppose that there are two tasks that need to be done. Someone needs to help some folks move, and somebody needs to entertain people by playing basketball. And there are two people, LeBron James and me. So who is better at helping people move and who's better at playing basketball? So let's think about it. So absolute advantage is using fewer inputs, right? So LeBron James has the absolute advantage in both moving and basketball. He would be way better at both in an absolute way, right? It takes him much less effort to help other people move, and he's way better at playing basketball and entertaining people than I am. But just because LeBron James is way better than me at basketball, maybe the difference is smaller when it comes to moving. So LeBron James is definitely better at helping people move, for sure. But maybe part of the time used to move people is spent driving a truck. Well, I can drive a truck probably about as well as LeBron James can. But maybe LeBron James isn't a lot better and certainly not way better at helping people move. So what does this mean in terms of assigning tasks? Because remember, LeBron's still better in an absolute way at both of these tasks. So LeBron can't do everything. So we've got to split up these tasks. And the way to do that is by looking at comparative advantage. That's based on the lower opportunity cost. So if LeBron moved folks, he'd have to give up basketball. There's no way he's doing that. That's a huge cost to him of helping people move. But me, on the other hand, if I help folks move, I've got to give up entertaining people with basketball. That's probably not that big of a deal. So I have the comparative advantage in helping people move. So to sum up, comparative advantage is a story about what you do relatively well, relative to your alternatives. It's based on what you could do with your time. It's not based on absolute inputs. It's based on that relative cost, what you're giving up to pursue an activity or produce a good. So what can we do giving up as little as possible is the question. And the answer is we're thinking about comparative advantage. So there's always something that we're relatively good at when we're comparing to ourselves. Thank you, and we'll see you next time.